in my title, which I've managed to pack all of those words into, speaking the live language, a case study analysis of effective visual company culture communication online to attract millennial recruits. It wasn't as easy as listing 5 things and putting them all in a title to come up with that idea. I actually started because I was also in the comm school and wanted to do social media. And that research was growing, and so I thought I'd narrow it down by focusing on visual communication and photos and imagery and design through the popularization of platforms like Instagram and Pinterest. And then I thought that that was kind of already evolving pretty fast, and that research was growing, and I found a book called The 2020 Workplace, and in the first couple pages it said that by 2020 the majority of the workplace will be made up of the millennials. By 2017 I think they'll be the biggest spending consumers in America. And that's becoming a really big conversation right now in the business world as far as how to manage them, and now they're kind of going into these managerial roles now that some of them are as old as 37. And their biggest ask is more intrinsic benefits in the workplace than extrinsic benefits. So it's how is Google getting their army of magicians over old established firms that have higher pay necessarily? So why is everyone going to the Ubers, the Zappos, Googles, and the Whole Foods? So I was able to go to South by Southwest through Thank You funding. Not as cool as New York or LA, maybe because it's just in Austin, but still a really helpful experience. There was a lot of topics on, or sessions that talked about company culture and visuals and infographics and design. So it's all very related. And a professor from NYU showed this graph that identifies in the red the Great Bull Run, which is 1982 to 2000. And the stock market just went up, up, up. And this is when all of us millennials grew up. So instead of a landscape when you're looking for jobs of finding a stable job, like maybe many of our parents was to find, stability and a career you can have for your whole life, there's this sort of ask to find something that you're passionate about and you're really interested in, because we've grown up with just really good economic times. So in this and another graph PwC released, I think last year, just polling millennials, and over half of them said they thought they'd have between 2 to 5 jobs over their career, probably something that baby boomers wouldn't have expressed upon graduating. And even a good chunk of them said they had between 6 to 9 jobs in their career. And the last kind of interesting information that I found at South by Southwest was a generational expert named Jason Dorsey. He has a company here in Austin. He researches millennials all the time, a lot for marketing, but he said that the most common misconception he has to tell people is that millennials are not tech savvy, they're more tech dependent. They don't necessarily know how their iPhone works, they just need it to work right now, immediately, and if it doesn't, they'll go buy a new one. And so with that, they're going to look online a lot for information and how companies are leveraging technology, and they know that that will make them more productive in their work environments. So by assessing their website, their social media, and how active they are on those online spaces, they'll see whether they want to work there. So what I did was take 5 companies, this is the case studies, and a lot of my personal biases towards, or I was working in them, or so I had kind of to see the back end of it and why they were producing their website like that, or they were in Austin, so I was able to interview people. Is kind of how I chose these 5. And I assessed them myself, and I looked at all the visual elements. So the infographics, the images, the videos, the design, and then I looked at their LinkedIn's, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram feeds. And I had students do that also, graduating seniors of different backgrounds, social work, communication, business, and psychology, and assess their visuals, say if they would be prompted to apply for a job there, how easy it was to interact with, and what their culture seemed like based on the visuals. So I can't talk about each company, but this video is from Chaotic Moon Studios, which kind of was definitely the most engaging visual that I got feedback from every student, and I think you'll see why.
Who is Chaotic Moon? We're a group of thinkers, builders, designers, developers, leaders, dreamers, and doers, hell-bent on making the world a better place through digital experiences. We're located here. More specifically, here, where we deliver these. Here's an even closer look at how we do it. We start by establishing a strategy, because we know it's essential for creating meaningful products. Building on this foundation, we develop a user-focused, goal-driven, comprehensive product roadmap. Once you fully understand your market needs, our cross-functional teams hit the ground running. With a mission in place, we get our hands dirty crafting a product which starts with a research-backed interaction and ends with a mind-blowing interface. Throughout the process, we build cutting-edge human interfaces and systems for the most advanced platforms in the world. Because if it's worth doing right, we put the utmost priority on quality assurance and iterative perfection. And yeah, all of this only represents one piece of what we can do. We also kick ass in brand development, business strategy, user research, space design, service design, and so much more. It all comes together under one roof. That's why everyone knows us as the Creative Technology Studio.
So the students had different feedback about this video. They liked the cohesive color, they liked how short it was, easy to understand and digest, the good proportion of graphics compared to text, but also having good voiceover, and it kind of has a tone of confidence and, you know, forward thinking and innovation that this company has, so that you're not going to work there if you don't want to be a part of a culture like that. So it communicates that well and succinctly in just a minute. So the recommendations I include at the end of my conclusions are to use video if you can, if not images, and if you're going to have text, put it in bullet form, because our millennials' eyes are automatically steering away from big bodies of text. And the overall message, which I think can apply to any company, business to business, is to consumer, law firm, engineering firm, you don't have to be the sexiest Uber brand or whatever, is to know me, make me smarter, fit into my life, inspire me, which I thought Intel and American Express, even though they're not Facebooks or whatever, were doing well. GE puts out all their content based on innovation. Hyatt does it through care. So if you really have a theme to the visuals you're expressing, you can definitely fit into the 2020 workforce and get the talent that you need.
So, as a professor, my freshman students are always asking me, you know, what's the workforce? What's it like out there right now? What can you tell us based on your research? What are they looking at, like around 2020 or so, when they're hitting the workforce?
So yeah, there are a lot of studies right now coming out about what that's going to look like. Right now, I think baby boomers, Generation X, and Generation Y are all sitting in the workforce, kind of working together, and that's causing some tension for sure. But as 2020 comes and we'll make up the majority, I think there'll be a lot more global opportunities. There's an expression for just being willing to travel and work remotely and work with people around the globe, of course. Working remotely, more work-life balance, more flexibility. They really want their personal lives to blend with their professional lives rather than those being two different entities. Yes.
You mentioned in the research that you came across a statement that said that your generation is more tech dependent and tech savvy. It was probably defined by an older generation, you know, boomer or Generation X. What are your own views about your millennial generation?
Being tech dependent versus tech savvy. I think that the whole idea behind that misconception and using that term is more appropriate was just saying, I don't know why, you know, what the engineering of my iPhone or my computer or what it is, but I want it to work for me and I know what I need for it to do in order for me to have a productive, efficient lifestyle and communicate quickly. So a lot of us, there's obviously a lot of us are willing to learn the science behind it, want to go into that, coding and whatever, but the majority as 19 to 37, I think especially the older part of that, doesn't know how it works, but they want to use it to make their lives better.
Did you have any websites that weren't effective?
Yes, I actually interviewed a girl that was a social work student, and she was looking to work in nonprofits, and she said that there were a few websites where the application portal is just not functioning. So, I mean, there were places where she just didn't pursue a career based upon user interface, not being friendly, not being engaging. So in that respect, that's why I'm saying that these sorts of things are going to just automatically distill your talent pool if you don't make those efforts to make that easy. Yeah.
One of your conclusions Because I have millennials who work for me. You said inspire me, so can you elaborate?
That's kind of what I was talking about at the end about you saw the there's the American Express account and Intel, and I said GE uses innovation instead of talking about their science and all. I mean, GE does a ton of things, but they really hone in on this innovation theme to really kind of inspire people, and they use quotes from their people. I think that's one. I mean, that's the root of culture. It's who the people you bring in are. So if you get the inspirational things they have from working there and being a part of that environment, I think any company is able to leverage sort of this inspiration idea, and you don't have to be Airbnb or whatever to still maintain something like that in your communication. Yeah.
Do you think that putting forward these types of presentations by companies is really spoon feeding your generation, and so when they go to look for a job, they're not doing the deeper research that they need to do to really find out about that company? They're just going to the website and going, oh, this looks really cool and really hip, I'm gonna go there, and so they're not really prepared for the industry or for that particular company. They have almost a false marketing sense about, oh, this is gonna be fabulous and I'm gonna save the world, and they're not prepared to go and put in the work to do that when they get there.
Yeah,
because they've
and
been spoon-fed to that point.
well,
so
I think
much.
that's the company's job to weed out those people that aren't necessarily understanding what they're getting into or what their day-to-day job description is, and that's an important distinction to make. Culture is not ping pong tournaments and kegerators on Friday. Or anything. I mean, I think that's like a common thing that they think, oh, that's what kids our age want to be a part of, or those kind of startup cultures, and that's why people are going to work there. It's way more beyond that. It's about the mission and the purpose and the values and the wellness principles. Goldman Sachs was on the cover of the Fortune's 100 Best Places to Work this year, not Zappos or anything else, and that has nothing to do with those perks or massage therapy in an office like Google has. It's way deeper than that. There's a reason they're on that list for all the other companies year after year.
Can you give some examples of what the tech and startup companies are doing to attract the millennials?
Well,
You covered it somewhere.
there's more collaborative work environments. I think there's an interesting story about Zappos. Their headquarters is in Vegas, and they have it configured so their setting, no one can walk through there's one entryway for everyone to walk into, the CEO, the managers, the interns, and so everyone has to have this interaction on a day-to-day basis when they enter, when they leave, when they go to lunch. And I think that kind of also dispels the myth that we're all facing screens all the time. It makes people interact, get to know the leaders, and I think sort of an alliance more between top people and bottom people is what they're looking for to attract people so they can grow, progress faster, and learn. Okay, one more.
So how would you define company culture, or how did the people you work with define company culture?
Like I was telling her in my response about inspiring and making sure that they're not just going to these cultures for like little perks. It's the intrinsic benefits versus the extrinsic, qualitative things over the quantitative. People are willing to make pay cuts if they think they can get career progression, work-life balance, and all of those things. So people are, it's, I think a Bain study came out in March 2015 actually. I know it did because one of the South by Southwest guys produced it, and that, so a month ago, the culture is the #1 topic businesses are concerned with